get going.
Way, hey, and up she rises, way, hey, and up she rises, way, hey, and up she rises, all I know. Go down. We're going to miss our landing. Slack the stayaway. Drop anchor. Heave ho. Descend, you fool. Lower. Go lower, I say.
I can't go any lower. I need more weight.
We have more weight than anybody. Get us down, or I'll take the cockpit myself.
I'd like to see you try.
They've come out to greet us. This time we've hit the jackpot. An offer like this comes once in a lifetime. We've put all our savings into this trip, and it was worth it.
So yeah, that was the game's opening cutscene. This is an incredibly bizarre and weird game. You can already see that by this game's main characters, the band, and those kind of half-height, they call them gnomes, I guess, which are the buddies. So I don't really have a whole lot of time to explain what exactly is going on right now, because as you saw, our airship has crashed and all the cargo we are carrying has fallen down all the way to the bottom of this ocean. So in order to go retrieve it, we have to get 1,000 of this in-game's main currency, which is fun, because games are fun, right? Sure. And we don't have a whole lot of ways to really do that right now. The main way we do that is by kicking these buddies around. One other thing we can do is you can collect some of this in-game currency, the second in-game currency that is, which is musical notes. We use those to get more fun, and I'll show exactly how that works in a moment. So right now, that's essentially all we're doing is the introduction to this game, just kind of kicking buddies around. Yeah, the sound effects in this game are wonderful. So we have 1,000 fun, which is our first objective, but actually we need to get 3,000 fun. So the mechanic with the notes is that you can drop them down once you get enough and start a dance party. We're going to start a dance party during this little cutscene here, in which we're introduced to these characters, which are the gods. But really all they do is just kind of wander around on that track all day, just going around in circles. And why are you not at the dance party? Dance parties are fun.
Even if it hurts them in the long run.
Here you go. We're gonna get 3,000 fun pretty quickly. It's nice. So that raft over there is how we're gonna retrieve the cargo that's about to fall to the bottom of the ocean. Actually, there's a cliff over there I should have gotten. So this introduces us to the next mechanic of the game. There are a lot of mechanics. This is the vehicle building mechanic. That's rather nice. So this is the vehicle mechanic, which can build stuff. It's kind of like Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, but a lot more limited. I wasn't kidding when I said this game is probably about 80% complete or so. So we're going to replace that broken sail with a much better sail. Now we have a raft. First I'm going to collect this cliff over here, which I neglected to do. Now we can sail over to the cargo. The problem with this raft is that it's kind of slow, so I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to swim over there. The cargo from our airship is arranged in 2 clusters of 5 crates each. Crates are essentially carrying additional vehicle parts. I've experimented a bit with collecting different parts from different clusters, and I found that collecting parts from different clusters doesn't really make the run faster. In fact, in some cases it makes it slower. So I just collect the 5 that are closest. These crates are kind of unique. Most of the crates you can walk over them and to collect the vehicle parts inside. These crates you actually have to touch with a vehicle. I guess that's sort of their way of making sure you actually complete the tutorial portion and don't just jump off the bridge right at the beginning and come over here.
Oh.
I guess I'm getting this one next. So we can collect 5 parts before they all plunge to the bottom.
Never again.
I'm gonna see if I can get on the raft just before I get this part. Alright. So now there's a wind that's gonna come and blow me all the way back to the island. The raft plus the wind is faster, so we're now actually going to use the raft for a little bit. So I would like to actually crash into this boat that's coming in. Not sure if that's going to happen though. Pressing the buttons to make that happen, but it's going to be close. And we missed it. That's alright though. Really all that does is get a bit closer to land. Makes things a bit less risky. And I'll show why that is in a couple minutes here. So the buddies have discovered our airship engine, and they're now jumping into it, because I guess that's fun? Question mark?
Be glad you didn't
So now we're
see
on this
previous
island.
attempts.
They teach us how to take things apart. We're going to dismantle this. And now we're going to collect blueprints, which are fairly self-explanatory. They're ready-made vehicles.
Parts and buy some screw.
Now we're going to head to the shop where we can buy and sell parts. We're going to sell pretty much everything from the raft because we are not going to use any of it ever again. And also a few of the extra parts picked up in crates. So now we're going to build that boat as a blueprint. Now we're going to head over to the second island. This does 2 things. One is that it stops the buddies from trying to jump into our airship for some reason. The other is that causes that boat to sink. If I don't get over to the second island before this timer that just appears runs out, that ship sets sail. And if it's too far away from the first island, those buddies are going to not be able to swim back and start drowning, and I have to pick them up. But if we get to the second island fast enough, that ship is close enough that they can just find their way back on their own and we don't have to worry about them. See? They can all head straight back, no worries. Oh, I think one of them may have gotten lost. Nope, never mind. Alright, so now we're going to completely dismantle the boat. So we don't need that anymore. I'm going to grab this clef. I'm going to pick up this life raft, which is going to become very important in next season. You guys hear me right, there are seasons in this game. This is currently autumn. Oh, that's no matter. Now I'm going to use this better boat blueprint. I'm going to start heading over to the first island. I'm not going to go very far because we have a third mechanic. See, there are basically objects that are just kind of hovering up above us in the stratosphere. I actually forgot to go to the shop, so I can sell the boat. No, I don't need it. So I need those. Okay, we have over 10,000 fun. One thing is that you sell parts for less than you buy them. So you have to be very careful about not selling too many parts. Alright, so my next mechanic. So we can head up to the stratosphere. There are objects that are floating up above us, and we're going to bring down this giant iceberg here. It costs 10,000 fun. I used to think you had to swim back to the first island and start a dance party, and then I realized that you can just sell your boat and not have to do that, which is great. So here comes the iceberg. There's penguins on it. The iceberg's going to hit the water, and it freezes all the water around it instantaneously, and that causes winter to happen. I'm sure you've all heard before that seasons are caused by the Earth's tilt, and you know how far close away parts of the Earth are to the sun at any one given point. That is incorrect. It's caused by giant icebergs falling from the sky. So as you saw, or as you were going to see in that cutscene I skipped, the penguins on the iceberg do not like buddies very much. In fact, there is a big battle going on over there, as you can see, so we're going to put a stop to that. We're also going to start a dance party. I didn't see a lot of buddies in the vicinity, so I don't know if this is actually going to do anything. Oh, we got one over there. So the next vehicle we need to build is the car. All of those buddies are carrying the parts we need for the car. And what that dance party does is it causes buddies in the vicinity to drop any parts they're carrying if they do, and then we can pick them up. So this guy's carrying some other parts on his back. The crates we pick up, they're always going to be in a certain order in terms of what parts are in them. So we always get the wheels first, then we always get the struts next, then I think motors come next, and finally we get some wheels and the chassis. The chassis is the most expensive. It costs 75,000 funds, so getting that in a crate is awesome. It's fun. These runs go faster. Sometimes buys glitch out, as you see here. Alright, so we have 2 motors. We also got a bunch of buddies going to the dance party. I don't know why they stopped. So this buddy has some more parts, and then I think once we collect those, I actually think we're going to be able to build a car. So we have over 75,000. So we're going to use the car blueprint. We're going to make some quick modifications to it. And namely add a life raft so we can pick up buddies. So this is the life raft mechanic you were supposed to see earlier but didn't because that's slow. So you can pick up buddies and carry them on your vehicle, and that's fun, so make fun doing that. Now our next objective to complete this part of the plot is we're supposed to go penguin bowling. When you run into a penguin, it knocks some of the gravity out of it, somehow. I'm not quite sure how. You see, you'd think gravity was a property of mass and all that stuff. I thought it was proven, but nope, you can actually knock gravity out of stuff just by running into it. And then when you knock enough gravity out, stuff just floats away. And that's how we're going to deal with this penguin situation. So you can sort of knock these penguins out of the arc. As you can see, I've not been very careful with how exactly I run into penguins, and so that does affect where exactly the penguins end up. Oh, I think I got all of them. Yep, there goes the last one. Alright. That was interesting. The physics are great in this game, but I guess I can hide behind sort of the weird, you know, Earth has less gravity nature of it. So we have a quick dialogue with the gods here, and then we're going to start the next part, which are these 3 races. So these 3 races are fairly unavoidable. They're required to advance to the next plot point. I've taken a look at sort of the mechanics of how these races work. Essentially, when you go through a checkpoint, it activates the next one. So it's that kind of system. So you can't really skip checkpoints, and the last checkpoint is required in order to cross the finish line. I mean, these checkpoints are slightly generous with where you can go through them, so you can cut corners, but you do have to be careful with going off course, because this game keeps track of how long you are off course, and if you stay off course for too long, this game just puts you right back to the last place you left the course. Also, if you go too fast, you can actually end up in these ice flows that are popping up, and that's bad because they tend to knock you around. And so it's a very long process, and if you go too fast, also these jumps don't appear, and so you can get stuck on stuff. So yes, it is possible to go too fast during these races. We're almost done with the first race. And there's the captain. It's sort of a plot point that the captain was missing. We had no idea where he was, but that's alright. So we're going to head back to this area, which is near where the second race is going to start. But first we're going to head to the shop. We're going to sell off some of the parts we found. And we're going to buy faster motors. So you may be wondering why I didn't do this for the first race, and the basic answer is that we didn't have enough fun. As I mentioned before, you can sell parts for less than you can buy them for in the shop, obviously. And also, as a part of this route, you have to be very careful about how much fun you have, because if you don't have enough to build the next vehicle in the sequence, you can basically end the run. So if you build this vehicle too early, or if you try to build this vehicle too early, you can get stuck very easily. Because you won't have enough fun to buy all the parts you need, and that's bad. So anyway, we have a couple more really long races here. And so I guess it's a good time to explain what the heck is going on here. So a while ago, the gods decided that humans were bad, as gods are wont to do. And so decided to take away all of Earth's gravity. Because I guess that's what you do when you decide humans are bad. And they took all of Earth's gravity, and I guess also all of Earth's goodness, and they turned that into paint. They also created human replacements, which are all of these buddies you see moving around. Not terribly intelligent, because I guess intelligence is bad, that's why humans are bad. They love fun, they're great, and the gods like them a lot more. But the humans are still around. They are in a pretty precarious situation. They're in danger of going extinct. But they still pay tribute to the gods because humans are wont to do that. And that's essentially where Phlox and the Captain come in. So Phlox and the Captain were delivering a very special shipment of cargo to the gods as sort of tribute. When they arrived at the Bros Island, which is the name of the archipelago here, and the buddies got so excited at their arrival that they crashed the airship and all the cargo fell to the bottom of the ocean. Oh dear. Yeah, that can happen too. The enemies in this game are kind of rubber banded, so they can run into you and bad things happen. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this game is gonna screw me over, isn't it? Luckily we have the faster car here. If I had the regular car, that would not have been possible. That does happen from time to time. We got a couple stuck buddies there. I guess this game rubber banded them slow because I was going slow. But anyway, all the cargo got lost, some of it fell to the bottom of the ocean, so the rest of the game was going to be us trying to make stuff right. But we got kind of sidetracked with all the stuff in the stratosphere and other things. So at this point we're just kind of along for the ride, quite literally. I've stopped giving this game any sort of pretense of making sense, because as you've seen, this game makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. So I just kind of go along and stuff. So this third race is kind of out in the middle of nowhere. It starts around here, I guess. But even if we're not exactly where the third race starts, we're not going to save any time, or lose any time. Because it does take a couple seconds between when the band spawns in and when they're actually active. Alright, there they are. As you saw there. Great sound effects. You also may have noticed you don't actually have to win any of these races. In fact, I don't really think you can. It's pretty difficult. I've never actually done it. Or maybe like once or twice. Really, the goal of this race is just to have fun, you know? Because going fast is fun. It's also a pretty great opportunity to pick up buddies and spare parts and other things. One of the parts we picked up is a spare mid-tier engine, which we're going to be using a bit later on. Oh yeah. So there is a right your vehicle mechanic, as you saw there, but in these races it's slow, so I accidentally use it sometimes. Most of the time it's actually faster, especially once you have flying or water vehicles. Yeah, those bombs do blow up, and because of rubber banding, it's probably going to happen once or twice a race. It's very rare I have a race where I don't get blown up. But one interesting thing is that there are absolutely no damage or health mechanics in this game whatsoever. There's no fall damage, there's no vehicle damage, there's nothing like that. This game does have good endings and bad endings, though, depending on how many buddies you lose. So now we've completed the third race. This is the game very poignantly telling us that it is time to go underwater. As you may have assumed, the underwater mechanics in this game are not very good. We already got the submarine blueprint. Nice. That happens sometimes. So we're going to dismantle the car. We have no need of it, or most of the parts on there. We're going to build what this game calls the bathysphere. We're going to start with the standard blueprint. So that's going to give us all the parts we need. But the problem is that this bathysphere is not very fast. So we're going to make it fast. We're going to go sell these motors, and we're going to use the fund from that. We're also going to sell these wheels. We're going to need that chassis for later. We're going to buy the fastest motor in the game. We're only going to buy one of them because based on the current route, that's how much fun we get over the course of the run. It looks like I forgot to buy propeller rolls in the shop, so we'll just go back and do that. I don't have enough fun to do that. Alright. That happens sometimes too. Alright, because I have 2 extra motors. So I'll just sell those and I'll buy an extra propeller. I will have to rebuy those motors later, but we should have enough fun that it's not going to make a huge difference. Those may be famous last words, though.
We decide to melt the volcano so they'll melt the ice and release our blimp. Clever. That's my girl.
Oh, did I? Yeah, I forgot to put the propeller on. It's kind of important, isn't it? That's why I wasn't going down. That being said, you can go backwards and forwards, go up and down faster when you have a water flying vehicle. So you'll see me doing that a bunch, and that's really just basically me going up or down faster. So in this part of winter, we have to reactivate 2 volcanoes. We're going to head to the first one in this direction. And in order to do that, we have to bring a certain number of buddies to them. This first volcano requires 7, precisely. You're going to notice me following the tracks in order to get from one volcano to another. Buddy spawning is completely random, both underwater and also above water. But generally, buddies spawn in the vicinity of the tracks. What that means is that even if I was to route a shortcut, I actually did do that once, I routed a shortcut to get to the volcanoes faster, that wouldn't really make a big difference because I would need to have the right number of buddies when I get there anyway. So you may have heard that the way volcanoes work is that there's a ton of molten rock under the ground that heads into a chamber, builds up a ton of pressure, and then violently explodes out the top when it builds up enough pressure. This is incorrect, as I'm going to show you momentarily. There are 2 ways to start volcanoes. First we're going to say hi to the captain, because he's down here.
What?
So the first way you start a volcano is with a dance party.
All hands on deck. Aha! I can see
So the
you.
buddies are going to be arriving
And what's
fairly
that
soon.
next to you? A giant
Now the problem is these horns tend to break every so often, and that's giving us some bad vibes for our rave in here.
How do you fire it?
So we have to stop them
Buddies
from
can recharge it themselves, I think.
being
It's
broken
like a
and making
carousel
noises when they
race.
break. And we do that by throwing objects into them.
Generous touch in return when we head home.
So which particular horn breaks is completely random, but you always have a horn break at the same particular spot in the music soundtrack. If a horn stays broken and making noise for too long, you can actually fail this, but I've only ever done that one time. Also, if any one of those objects is coming out of them hits you, while it's moving, that will knock you over. And while this is an auto-scroller essentially, because you have to wait till the end of the track, that is annoying. Because you have to get back up, and then it's more time that the horn is making bad noises. Oh, alright. I guess that worked. Rather can... No, I guess not. Yeah, I have had horns break, like, multiple times during one of these dance parties. One time I had the same horn break 4 times. It is completely random. But it doesn't matter much, because you don't gain or lose any time. Oops. Oh, yeah, that's what I was talking about. And now I have 2 broken horns I have to fix. The timer for a horn being broken is fairly generous. So I mean, you can trip and fall and wait, and you're not going to fail. But you do have to be pretty careful. Okay. This is the final one where a bunch of them break. Now it looks like I got only 2 this time. Just a moment. I was waiting for a sound cue there. Just make sure all of them made it off. That's correct, because this is about to break, and they can fall into the magma. Oh, this guy was here the whole time. How about that? He's just gonna have to stay there, I guess. Alright, waiting for that message at the bottom to change. It's gonna tell me when the volcano's done, and there we go. On to the second volcano. So for this next one, I have to bring 13 buddies, which is a lot. This bathysphere can only take 8 at a time. Normally it can take 7, but the faster motors add a couple more on. If I'd gone to the left there, that's actually a faster and more direct way to the second volcano. But like I said, that's not actually going to save me any time. In fact, it's going to lose me some time because of how buddy spawning works underwater and how they generally spawn near the tracks. Yeah, underwater controls are not so great.
Cowardly, spiteful, and demanding. They always whine and never enjoy life. It's so disgusting. They need to change something immediately. What is those gods? So intelligent.
So this is a pretty good spot for donations, actually, during the actual GDQ. Now, winter is probably the slowest of the seasons, although spring has some slow parts, but picks up after a bit. So there's 6. I like to get 6 or 7 buddies for this first trip, because like I said, I need 13. 8 is perfect, but I don't need that. It just means I don't have to use safer strats. Alright, there's 8, actually. So for the second trip, I need 5. If I bring in 8, actually, I've only ever gotten 16 buddies one time. But if I bring in 16, it means I can use riskier strats. I'm just gonna push this away so the buddies don't get on. There we go. Make sure to stay far away from the buddies. So it looks like this one decided to stay. Buddies do persist when you go between loading zones. But like I said, the spawning is completely random, and you can get screwed over fairly easily if you don't get buddies in the spots you want. Those jellyfish, when they knock you around, they can actually knock buddies off of your life raft. So you do have to be careful not to go too quickly into one of them. So I'm going to try and get one more buddy. I'm not seeing any. Oh, there we go. We got 2 more. Nice. I'm gonna go for that. Looks like that means I can use riskier strats. Oh, we got full 8, it looks like. That's good. So this is actually the second time in a row I've gotten 16 buddies. I'll talk a little bit about what it means to get 13, the minimum, versus 16 once we start this next volcano minigame. One thing that can happen when you get to this loading zone is you spawn at the top of the tunnel, and then all your buddies essentially float away. And that's bad, because then you have to collect them, and like I said, underwater controls, not very good. Anyway, we do not need the bathysphere anymore, so I'm just gonna dismantle that. And all the buddies are gonna head off to that room to the right. I'm gonna go to the left. What was that? That was weird. Yeah, I'm using 2 monitors right now, and I noticed my mouse pointer go over to the second one. And this game does not like being on 2 monitors. So that's a phone call from the captain telling us not to do what we just did. But I don't care because I want to go fast. Here come all the buddies. You can actually soft lock the game if you try and activate this too early. So the second way to activate a volcano is you basically put buddies on a drum and then send them off shooting into the sky. So as you can see, we're basically playing Organ Dance Dance Revolution right now. So what's going on is that buddies are coming up through this organ. They are heading over pipes up top, coming out of a couple horns in the roof of the room with the drums and the trampoline we just saw. They are bouncing around a bit, and hopefully ending up on the center drum. What's supposed to happen is those buddies are supposed to end up on the floor, and they're supposed to come back into this organ and refuel it. You see that number in the center that's going down, 11 out of 13 right now. If that number gets to 0, I fail this activity and have to start over again. And so the buddies are supposed to come to the floor, come back into this organ and refuel it. Because I changed the drum angle, they're going to end up on that center trampoline and stop there. So that's what you're supposed to do after this room. Is you're supposed to get at least 3 buddies on that center drum, and then they go shooting off in the sky, and then volcanoes get started. So if 1 or 2 comes back, that's alright. Now that's basically the organ mechanic. So this is another good spot for donations, or silence for that matter, because this is one of my favorite music tracks in the game. Almost done. Alright, so we should have a whole bunch of buddies on the center drum, and there they all are. This buddy's trying to get on there. See if I can help him. Yep, alright, there he goes. So when that timer gets to 0, the buddies will blast off into the sky, and then this volcano will be good to go. Oh, that buddy just missed the drum. Alright, he's just gonna have to stay there then. So we have 2 volcanoes going, the Organ one as well as the Dance Party Rave one. These volcanoes are going to go off now with me in them, but that's alright. Volcanoes are totally safe when they're erupting. So most of the cutscenes in this game are unskippable. There's one at the start of winter that you can skip, and also can skip the opening cutscene, and that's pretty much it. So anyways, you saw, the volcanoes have erupted, which causes that to happen, I guess. That's how ice flows form. And now it's spring. Might not look like it, but yeah, it's spring. So now we're on a giant ice floe. What's the best part of spring but having a dance party on a giant ice floe? So I do have to be mindful of where the buddies are on this life raft. So one nice thing about these dance parties is that parts fall from the sky if the dance party is on the ice floe. This is the only time that actually happens. So we're just going to swim behind it. I said swim behind it. And collect parts as they fall. I used to build a vehicle for this, but then I discovered that it doesn't actually give you any advantage. In fact, you may lose time if you're too far away from the ice floe when the dance party stops, as you've seen here. So these buddies can fall off the ice floe, and that's bad because if buddies fall into water past a certain point, they can become glitched. And I'll talk about what that means once I get to that point.
Over.
I missed a couple of parts because I was busy managing buddies. I'll ignore that. So I need 88,000 fun in order to be able to build the next vehicle that I'm going to do. And that has to be a combination of the bathysphere itself as well as the other vehicle parts I have that I can sell, and everything else. I just need some more fun than that for other things related to the plot, but 88,000 is what I'm looking for right now. Alright, so now I'm going to go a little ways away from the ice floe. I'm going to enter the shop, and I'm going to sell off everything I don't need, which is a lot, because there are a lot of parts that fell down, plus there's all the bathysphere parts which I don't need, there's that which I don't need, and just a ton of things we do not need. Now there's a real risk here of me still running out of fun, but I think I managed to get every single part I needed, which is awesome. Sometimes I don't actually get to that. So this vehicle is completely custom. Whoops. I like to refer to it as the magic carpet for reasons you can see. It's basically the main vehicle we're going to use for the rest of the game. There is one exception to that, which you're going to see in a little bit, actually. But for the most part, for most of the season and all of summer, this will be our only vehicle. Oops, that was the wrong direction. This Magikarp has gone through a couple iterations. I think I've settled on a pretty decent build right now. I've been satisfied with how this one's worked. Flying controls, like the water controls, are not that great. But this can still handle flying pretty well. So now we're going to trigger a couple of cutscenes a little bit early. So that ice flow is heading towards that giant iceberg thing, and it's not going to be able to get through there. What you're supposed to do is add enough weight with crates and platforms and whatever in order to be able to make it break through with just pure momentum. But I did not do that. Instead, I'm going to rescue all the buddies on the ice flow another way. And we're going to ignore the iceberg completely. So it looks like I should be in position to trigger the next cutscene also.
Do you build a roof?
Nope, have to go
If
backwards
you're
just a
short
little
on
bit.
fun, whistle something
You have to
for
talk to the
them
captain.
once. Make them dance.
Thought I was close, but I guess not.
Still on.
In?
Oh.
Okay, I was actually supposed to trigger a third dance party, but I did not do that. So now we do not have enough fun for the next thing. There's our ice flow. So what can happen with the buddies is once they get full of fun and too much fun, they explode. So we're going to get 10,000 fun another way. We're going to grind it. That's alright.
As your captain, I advise you to remain calm and fasten your seatbelt.
Actually looks like this may have worked out for me.
The ice hummocks.
Okay. So next thing we're going to infuse with fun and pull down from the stratosphere is the Statue of Liberty. Yep, that's here. Just kind of floated into the vicinity. Lucky for us. So it just so happens that around the area of where the Statue of Liberty is going to land, there are a bunch of buddies, and they're going to end up on ice flows that are going to start floating away. What the game's going to tell you to do is try and rescue the buddies on the ice flow, but we're going to ignore that. Because by the time those buddies float away, we're going to be done with spring.
I'll send a few helpers to retrieve them. Watch. Colleagues, I must admit, the upgrade of our planet has turned to a threat.
So we're just going to wait a little bit here.
I believe we should place the blame on humankind as usual. Because of their corrupt nature, our attempt at perfection turned out to be the body.
There we go. So this is the eggplant. It is what the gods use to basically turn Earth's gravity into paint. And it's fueled with buddies, as you can see by that kind of Ferris wheel-like thing at the top. We are going to use it to turn... well, we're going to use it to do stuff, I guess. I'm honestly not sure what we're going to use this thing for, but it's going to be an interesting rainbow. It requires 10 buddies to be powered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Perfect. So we actually have enough buddies. So that's kind of interesting. Even though I did not get that third dance party in, it seems to have actually saved me some time.
Without breaking a few eggs.
Sound effects.
It seems you're solving all the
All the blades are currently trapped under my magic carpet there.
away on an ice flow. Look, they're calling to you. Wave your
They're probably going to
hands,
knock it off.
sweetheart.
So they're trying to get to the Ferris wheel, but I can't really do that because I'm in the way.
Landmark on the plant. That was our eggplant. We were charging the samples with goodness.
So I'm trying to avoid triggering a cutscene, but that may just be inevitable.
Who told her to?
Alright, there we go.
Nobody.
So we got all the buddies on there.
She started this on her own.
So what's happening right now is that the captain brought in a bunch of birds to rescue any buddies which are drowning. What are you doing?
She's like a monkey with dynamite. By the way, what else floated away?
We're missing just one.
Fuel cisterns?
No! The cisterns contain
So I successfully skipped that cutscene.
old goodness in its natural form. Color only leads to trouble,
So what can happen is that the buddies, they basically get stuck. Alright, so all the buddies got knocked off. So what can happen with the buddies is that they're waiting for birds to pick them up so they can become glitched. Alright, we're trying to get 10,000 fun here. In the meantime, we're just going to head over here because the next plot thing happens over here. So these are the paint cans I mentioned, full of the paint I mentioned. That was the old goodness, all of Earth's gravity. Or at least some of it. It's in these paint cans. You may have heard that, like, gravity is a property of mass and that all things inherently have it. That is no longer true. Paint is now gravity. So as you may have seen with the eggplant, it requires 2 more colors of paint in order to fill it.
Now I get it. The birds are stalks.
And those colors always end up in the exact same spot.
But why are they carrying
So I hope there are a couple balloons in here, because otherwise I'm kind of screwed. My goodness.
You stupid girl.
Okay, so maybe in a bit of a bind here. So I'm going to have 1 balloon. Yeah, the parts you get from there are completely random.
Oh.
Now you do need balloons to get these things back to the eggplant, so you can buy one of those. These are the best balloons for doing this.
Are you ever going to learn to fly?
So we're at least going
Find
to
some
try.
blueprint if you can't handle it yourself.
Yeah, like I said, if you don't have enough fun for things, that's essentially the end of the run, but it looks like I'm doing alright here.
The boiling concentrate of original, absolute good. The one that caused humans unbearable suffering is in there. Color, an exceptionally strong substance, turns dead into living. A very rare material.
So I'm probably going to collect these parts, see if I can at least get enough fun.
These tanks sure are.
It's rather annoying. Alright, we got 3 wings, and let's see what this is.
Good. The one that caused humans unbearable suffering is in there.
So I don't think that adds up to enough fun, but we shall see.
Strong.
Oh, alright. I think we got enough here.
Substance.
I was hoping to get 2 of these balloons. I've sometimes gotten 3 before, but this time we got 1 of the wrong kind of balloon, the slower balloon that does not lift as much, and we got 2 packs of struts, which is really annoying. I can see these balloons are much better. So I do in fact need that 3rd dance party.
Not a crack here. Say, can you drop something else? Anything heavy left in the stratosphere?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dismantle this basically paint balloon vehicle thing I have right over the chimney. I need to make sure I'm in the precise spot to do that. And then I can basically just save all the parts I used to build this. Gotta wait for that. Unskippable. Build my magic carpet again. Saving and loading vehicles is perfectly acceptable as long as you save it in the same run.
Come in, folks. Do you copy? Those blasted birds. It didn't occur to me that the bugs were so round.
So the captain is talking about yet another mechanic, one of many, many mechanics in this game.
Build the copter. We need to get the buddies out of those nests.
Which is that the birds that the captain sent to rescue the buddies think they're eggs. I think I mentioned they're bringing them back to the eggplant. See, there are the balloons I needed. If only the game had given them to me earlier. Got marathon luck early.
Whoa.
Yeah, those crates are completely random, as I've sort of alluded to. Looks like I'm not going to lose too much time. Probably a minute or two. Almost there. That's good enough. And now the captain's there. We did not trigger his cutscene. So now we've triggered the eggplant. The eggplant is going to start spewing paint everywhere, and that's going to make it summer. Yep. One word of warning is that the game can crash during this cutscene. I've had that happen a few times before. If the game does crash, I have safety saves. Namely at the beginning of summer. So one thing I should mention about the buddies, actually while they're in view, is that as I am planning on having a bid war for the buddies' skin, I am able to extract all the texture files for the buddies out of the game's data file folders, and I essentially just take those, I edit them in Photoshop and Illustrator and a few other programs, possibly Substance if I can get the 3D model extraction working. And so I can use that to essentially make any texture I want. And so that's how that would work. So what you see right there, that is the Earth's axis. You may have heard from some scientists that the Earth's axis is essentially a conceptual pole through the Earth.
A wonderful solution.
That essentially describes what the Earth rotates around. That is incorrect. The Earth's axis is that crank-like thing. And in order to basically save the Earth and start gravity going again, we're going to get it spinning. So now it's summer, and what's great for summer is, well, dance parties. We're going to need 10,000 fun in order to pull the axis down. As you can see, we do not have a lot of that because I forgot the third dance party back in spring. But there's lots of parts laying around, and there's probably a few buddies around the island, so we can essentially just grind that fun. See, here come all the buddies. So we can also sell all these parts I'm picking up and some of the extra ones to get fun. In fact, that's actually what I'm going to do. So I'm going to sell all my balloons. I'm going to sell that. I'm going to sell those. I'm going to sell nearly all of that. Is that everything? Pretty much. Now I'm going to pull the axis down. As far as I know, you don't actually earn fun while you're in the stratosphere, so I do have to be careful with the timing of this. Also, while we were in the stratosphere, you saw a UFO way in the back there. One incentive I'm thinking of having is to just bring down that UFO. Because why not? It's a cool thing. Just have that UFO flying around. It does give you more buddies. But grinding that 10,000 fun isn't really worth it.
Happiness for everybody, free and satisfaction guaranteed.
Yeah, the audio is great in this game. I've never actually heard that line before. It's a totally new one for me. Let's just swing on 6,000 fun. Once we get that 30,000 fun to pull the axis down a second time because it needs that for some reason. We then need roughly 28,000, I'd say 29,000 fun to complete the game.
No relationships until I'm done.
Alright, so we're gonna enter the shop. I'm gonna sell off everything I just got. And then I'm gonna build my magic carpet again. So that's enough for the second round of bringing down the axis. And like I said, we need 28,000 fun. So I'm probably going to have a third dance party. And while it happens, I'm just going to do other stuff. This actually looks like I was wrong. You earn a little bit of fun while the cutscene's going on, but you don't earn fun while that's going on. Also, so that clef was the clef I left to start the dance party, but it's still there. I've discovered that if you're not in the loading area, I guess, of a clef, or if you're too far away, sometimes it persists. Not always, though. So now my dance party has gathered all the buddies around them. We're actually going to pick them up. Because this is actually faster fun-wise. Like I said, we need 28,000. So you can see the bands over there on that other island, but I'm not going to go to them because there's no point. It's a totally optional cutscene that happens over there. Let's see if I can find any other buddies. I need 7 for the next thing. Oh, I seem to have lost all my buddies. So now I have 1. My buddies are kind of top heavy. It takes them a bit to get up again if you lose them. Alright, we have enough fun for the next thing. Then I have to go get all 7 buddies. So you may have heard the Large Hadron Collider is a gigantic ring underneath a lake in Switzerland, on the border of Switzerland. That's huge. You're hearing correctly, it's really more of a series of rings. Let's see if I can not crash into this thing. It's going to be a tall order, though. This looks like there are only 5 buddies in the vicinity, so we're going to have to search for some more. There's a dance party.
Yes, there must be at least one.
So we're going to now restart the Large Hadron Collider by realigning its series of rings.
Call you intelligent walking, and as for
So you have to realign them this way. Yeah, the ring alignment is sort of random. This looks to not be a very good pattern, unfortunately. Maybe it was alright for these last few rings. It was kind of close. And so now we have all the rings aligned. Actually, those were split there. We now have to initiate the startup sequence, which is kind of like Simon. It's a purple-green. It's random every time. Almost had it. So that was actually a very good sequence. It's completely random. In fact, I dare say it's probably one of the best I've had. because I think I only got like one wrong, and it was kind of near the end. But anyway, what you see there is a black hole. You may have heard that black holes are very small collections of neutrons that have a tremendous amount of gravity, to the point where it could completely destroy any planets, stars, or galaxies in the vicinity. That is incorrect. Black holes are completely harmless. In fact, there's one giant one over there. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically have it pull some objects in. Oh, hello, buddy. I need you to restart the collider, but I guess I'll find some more. So now we've brought in the collider, there may be a couple more buddies kind of wandering around. There's one. See if I can find any others. One of the keys of the collider is that you do need to make 2 trips. So even though I took a buddy away, it's not going to make a gigantic difference because I need to make the second trip anyway. So right now I just need to wait for these 2 to come over. I think we might actually have enough. Anyway, we do need 18,000 fun. That one exploded, so. So those guys are going to head to the collider. And that was not enough. We need another one. So I'm going to make absolutely sure I do not have any extra parts. I have a couple extra struts here, but that makes no difference whatsoever. Now we're going to have to find ourselves a couple more buddies. So let's see if there are any on this island. There they are. And the good news about coming all the way over to this island, why am I going up, is that I can generate all the fun I need on my way to the collider. So that's why I didn't go to the other island, where there was no point in going. I'm going to generate 19,000 just to be safe. So probably only needed like one more buddy to go into the collider. Alright. So we have one more cutscene with the gods. And we move on to our final mechanic of the game. Just wait until they decide to talk to me. There they go. Now I wait for the stratosphere. There it is. So there are a whole bunch of much more minor objects floating up in the stratosphere. My goodness, I have very few 1,000 fun ones. We were supposed to be pulling these down throughout the course of the game, but we didn't do that because there was no point. But now there is. We need to take 3 of these objects and get them to the black hole in the center of the Large Hadron Collider. Now, the way we're going to do that is with comets. Or more specifically, meteors. What they call them, comets. So, I mean, they're the same thing, right? So we pull a comet down towards Earth. Now, I may have heard that comets are super destructive and will essentially destroy anything they come in contact with, and when they hit the ground, they cause a huge crater, release a ton of energy, and absolutely devastate anything. That is incorrect. When they hit the water, they just cause the water to boil. That's it. Nothing significant. So now we have that water boiling. Where am I going? There I am. So as the devil robot god-like thing said, the way tornadoes form is not with hot and cold air that are just sort of going past each other and causing wind to spin around in circles. What causes tornadoes is someone flying above them in a helicopter at the right speed and altitude, and then that and basically over boiling water, and that causes updrafts, and then you form tornadoes. Now, tornadoes are sentient and will actually follow that person around who is in the helicopter. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to have the tornado follow us to that house there. It's supposed to be done right now. There we go. And the tornado, because it's sentient, is going to take that house and bring it back to the collider for us. And we need to do that 2 more times. So we're going to bring in this house because it's 1,000. This is why I say you need 19,000 fun to finish the game. Because you may have very few 1,000 fun items and a lot of 2,001 like I have right now. So comets are actually steerable. Okay, looks like this is near the other island. You can use the keys to steer them around, which you kind of saw during that first comet. But this is why I need 18,000 fun. I need 5,000 fun per comet. I need 1,000 to 2,000 fun per object I bring down to bring to the collider. So let's see, where am I? Oh, I'm in exactly the same spot as the first one, alright. Where the objects fall and where the comets spawn is completely random. Good luck is when you have comets spawn close to the item you want to pick up. As you can see, I haven't had the best luck, but I've been able to steer the comets pretty close to where the objects are, so it's not a huge deal. And obviously, great luck would be close to the collider, but I've never gotten that. They're usually pretty spread around.
Finally, they were put to good use.
Right now we're going way faster than the game expects us to. So the audio is kind of confused right now, so if this dialogue makes no sense, that's why.
A bit bulky, but you're getting used to it. But it's right. These tornadoes are heavier and don't fidget as much. Now you pull as much weighted junk toward the earth as possible and set it spinning again.
It won't start spinning.
You're rude enough to argue with me. How can you be sure of anything in the current circumstances?
Should be almost done with this tornado.
Why the devil will it do that?
Now we just need to guide it over to this house, even though it's pretty close. And there it goes. Now I just need to do that 1 more time. And I don't know if this object over here is 1,000 fun. I think it is. Oh, it is. Nice. Alright, so I had 3 1,000 fun objects, which is ideal. That happens most of the time, but I have had to get some 2,000 fun objects before. So let's see where we are. I think we're close to the collider. Oh, we're over here. Alright. So we're close to the first island, which is going to be annoying, so I have to go all the way back there. But it's also kind of a trade-off, because it has less distance to travel to the collider. Oh, and I'm actually... No, I'm near the second island. Goodness. Let's see how close I can get to the first island in my object. Kind of close. If comets hit anything that's not water, they basically just fizzle out. You know, they don't cause mass destruction, a huge waste of energy, they just kind of disappear. This includes if they hit my vehicle. They just disappear. Which is super annoying, obviously. Because then you have to send another comet, and with fun as tight as this, you know, you don't want that to happen. You don't want to have to grind more fun. Tornado's almost done. Tornadoes can get stuck on things. I've had them get stuck on that boat before that comes down during winter, which is obviously bad. Alright, so now I have to guide this tornado across. Come on, tornado. I believe in you. Where are you going? That's not where we're supposed to go. Follow me. Alright. So here's that nice little island. Now I just have to wait for that to get back. I'll just kind of hang out over here.
Damn you!
Bam! I love that. So yeah, that's a world record right there. Sub 110. As you can saw, it might be able to go even faster, because some of the RNG sort of messed things up a bit, and me having to grind fun for that third dance party. Although now I think about it, I mean, I did get world record, even though I messed that up, so maybe that's a new route now. I did route this game myself, and I'm still discovering new things here and there, but the route is really set. It's been set for a month or two now, at least.
I was just starting to enjoy myself. Take a look around. Do you like it? I think it's quite good.
A time to gather stones, my girl. A time to gather stones. It's also time to think about building a home. It's an instinct. Making a nest and all that.
Maybe I wasn't meant to be a pilot. Maybe I was meant to be a landscape architect.
No, no, cut it out. Home is home, rocks are rocks. But I'll accept your internship and consider it finished. If there's anything to return to, I'll fetch your diploma right away. I don't remember if I had my seal with me, but in case I lost it somewhere,